Welcome back, Ned Heads. This is the 13th episode of the Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide podcast, the final Season 1 episode. My name's Kirk, and with me I have here Jacob. Say hey.
What's up, guys?
Yep, it's a good old classic ep here. I think it was strong. I think it was stronger than the last couplet of episodes. I must say that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And today it was emergency drill day and the late bus.
And late bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both pretty fun eps. They were I think pretty different than some of the other eps, especially the late bus. Mm-hmm. You know, majority of it took place outside in the front, like little, I guess where their bus loop is at, or the bus pickup at the very least.
Yeah, they were just locked somewhere outside of the school. Except
for Cookie's dope like tour that he had going on. But yeah, no, they were fun eps. I liked them a lot. I think it was a good cap to the season. Both eps also tied into each other a little bit, which we only found the one other time, like you were saying, in the dance episode, and I don't remember the one that was next to it, but that's the episode that Trevor was on with us.
Yes.
Where they also had tie-ins.
Yeah. The dance episode and the like pre-planned dance episode.
Do you remember the A to that episode though? I only remember the.
I think it's about just asking people out and shit like that.
Okay, it's something.
I mean, I can look in the notes and try and see. Dance.
But
episode,
yeah,
dance
so
episode.
Also today we're both actually drinking cocktails, which is different. Usually, you know, I have like a nice beer or something.
Yeah.
But I've got the gimlet, I think is how it was pronounced, right? Is what you said?
It's a gin gimlet. Yep, it's just a gin and lime juice and simple syrup. I think those are the only 3 ingredients, right?
Yeah, that was it. And you put it in a shaker with some ice, and you just get it nice and cold.
Yep. I got a Chilcano, which is what basically happens if you take a Moscow Mule, so that is lime juice and, you know, ginger beer, and you just instead of any other kind of liquor, the liquor you use is pisco, which is like a Peruvian sort of brandy that's pretty tasty. A lot of times people make pisco sours, you know, which is the egg white, you get that thing frothy. I wanted to use some of the ginger beer, so this was pretty good. And I will say...
Nice, yeah, it sounds tasty.
Yeah, part 1 of episode 5 is crushes/dances. And I guess what that means is part 1 is crushes, part 2 is dances. So it was crushes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so it probably was like an asking out type deal or whatever.
Yeah, that's a big plot point in it. But episode 13 starts out with its emergency drills. So
yeah.
The first emergency and the last emergency, oddly enough, that we are shown is bear awareness.
Yeah, by Mr. Monroe.
Mr. Monroe. And like you said, all of the emergencies presented in this episode, very California emergencies.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, earthquake, bears. The one was twisters. Are there a lot of twisters there?
Twisters? Was that one?
That was chop saws.
I don't even remember.
Fire drills everywhere, but especially California. They have tons of fires.
And technically, earthquakes could be anywhere, but like again, much more of a California problem.
Yeah, the only one that was questionable, I think, is surprisingly not the bear attack. It was the twisters for me.
Yes.
Because there's so many mountains there. Not a whole lot of it's flat for the twisters to come through.
You would think. Maybe cyclones or whatever, the water spouts and shit.
Maybe more so, I guess, in SoCal where it's like desert y and stuff like that.
It's really still just it's fires and earthquakes there too, isn't it?
Oh yeah. But yeah,
nobody
in
gives
there.
a fuck. Nobody's listening to them.
No one cares at all about the drills, and they're in Monroe's class talking about this party that's coming up after school.
Yeah, Ned is like, you going to the party? And
Chandra's party.
Yeah, whoever in the shit is Chandra, who knows?
Not a person they've ever talked about before this.
Definitely not, and we never see her or him. It's not even...
Yeah, I assume it's a lady.
Me too.
It ends in the A.
Yeah, me too, but you never do know, do you?
And also, Mose has a zit that she says is fucking huge.
That's what's preventing her from going to the party.
Yes.
I guess she must
and we
have,
see
I guess she was
Ned
invited.
try to ask out. Wait, what did you say?
Do you think they were all invited to the party? Like they could go?
I would assume so. If they were this pumped about it, they must have been invited, no?
Sometimes you just hear about parties and you're like, man, that'd be cool, but you didn't get invited, you know?
You just fucking show up.
Yeah, that's when you become a party crasher. That's a lifelong commitment.
You say, what's up? I know you, and I know your address. I know I didn't get the Evite, but I'm coming anyway.
Yeah, it's like super bad. You end up like starting a fight. The cops show up.
Yeah, you get period blood on you.
Mr. Monroe's main advice for bears is call animal control. I'm saying
That's good advice.
Depending on the situation, good or horrible advice. Sometimes you can't fucking wait.
You think it's too late?
Yeah.
I mean, animal control is probably going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, if you're on the street and or in the woods, let's say you're in the woods and you see a bear, you're not calling animal. What are you going to give them your longitude and longitude coordinates? Latitude, longitude?
No way.
This is before smartphone technology where you can just be tracked all the time no matter what.
Yeah, these guys had what, like Razor flip phones?
Exactly. Maybe if you're balling, a BlackBerry.
If you were really balling, though.
Out of control.
If you were like, I don't know, Orlando Brown or something.
Yeah, Orlando Brown in fucking the movie.
Max
I always
Keebles.
forget the name of it. How is that?
I mean, that's all right. I almost called him Orlando Bloom because that's the first Orlando I think of every time.
Oh, Orlando Bloom? No, Orlando Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. He says bears happen. Bears happen. He gets very flustered.
They do.
Because nobody is listening to him. I would be.
Maybe he's been attacked by a bear. Maybe he's had a bad situation.
I don't like just talking and trying to like get a message out to people and just being ignored.
I feel like that's the point where you give up, you know, as a teacher. You just fucking, you lay down. You're like, listen, these kids aren't going to listen. They don't give a fuck about bears.
I sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Ned wants to ask Susie. He's
Bad.
about to ask Susie to the party. Like, hey, you want to go to the party with me? Maybe we can like carpool, or like my mom can come and get you or something like that, because that's what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not grown-ups.
Well, maybe they like ride their bikes together or something.
Depends on how big this town is.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is, as soon as he's about to do this, the fire drill goes off. All right, so
Yeah, Durga comes in.
Pandemonium breaks out. This is the most unorderly fire drill I've ever seen.
Well, you say that, but once they got into the hallway, they
line up. They get in line.
Yeah, they were in a single file.
Yeah, they fall in line, and that's where Cookie gets...
It wasn't moving, though. It wasn't moving at all.
Yeah, Cookie's anxiety gets triggered. He's like, if there was a real fire, we were all just sitting here in line, burning!
Yeah.
No one here is ready for a real emergency. When he says that, that's when Gordy walks by in a flame retardant
cue
suit
Gordy.
with all kind of gadgets. He's like, Gordy is ready for any emergency.
Yeah, and we do find out that Gordy is a full-on prepper. We go into his janitor's closet, and he's got like essentially a bunker inside of a cabinet where like he's got snacks and shit. He's got all sorts of tranquilizers. I mean, he's got everything you need. He's got all the gear.
Yeah, I did write Gordy as a Boy Scout, but prepper is much more accurate.
Yeah.
That's...
Because it's all about disasters.
Yeah, he's got shark tranquilizer, all kind of different animal tranquilizers. They come into play.
Yeah, I don't
later.
know I don't know how the shark is going to come into play at a landlocked middle school.
Sometimes this is where people say the show Jump the Shark.
You think right in the closet?
No, I'm sure it only gets crazier from here.
I think it does.
But yeah, so this is where Gordy and Cook, they come up with a plan. I think that their plan is eventually, well, it comes clear we need a better way to escape the school in the event of some sort of horrific tragedy.
Yeah.
Waiting in line for everybody else to get out, that's not feasible. That's not fucking... You screw yourself that way. Gordy, I guess his mind goes to monorail.
Yeah, I don't know why he thinks monorail. I mean, I don't know why they think tunnel, because, like, this whole idea is insane.
No, man, that was where my mind went. I was like, if you want to get out of there, you got to have a tunnel from every building out. You got to bypass the traffic of the hallways.
But even if that was the case, they didn't go, like, underground. They went, like, through the wall.
That's because
which
they're
makes no
retarded.
sense.
That's because they don't know how to do things. Yeah, they try to dig the tunnels, and that's what's pretty much the rest of the plot for them.
Yeah, that's their like little B plot when they keep cutting back to to them digging tunnels in different places that don't work out. But the next drill is the earthquake drill. And Mr. Wright's got these like huge ass speakers, and he blasts them. He turns it all the way up to Hollywood style earthquake.
He created an earthquake machine.
He did, yeah.
A sim. It
was like something that you'd see at like a theme park.
It was more intense than the Twister ride that used to be at Universal. You ever go on that? Or was it called Earthquake?
Of course I went on that.
It was Twister, right? Where you're in the subway car?
Wasn't that just called like Disaster or something?
You might be right. It might have just been called Disaster.
Because I think there was both. There was like
I think you're right.
There was all like a shitload of different types of disasters, wasn't it?
That was like them trying to like...
But they got rid of it, didn't they?
Well, it's almost too real. It's like, come on, man. This shit happens. People die.
Yeah, but it's dope. Come on.
I want to
like
just be a
movie.
superhero and just be on a roller coaster.
Yeah, that's true. Fly through the air.
I don't want to be on a sim. That's just me, though.
But yeah, so this is when they cut back afterwards to Gordy and Cook in their wall tunnel, and they end up in the same spot. They do like a big loop. So they got to turn back.
Well, not only do they do a loop, so there's a hole in the floor in the study hall, which is what the room is that they happen to have started in. That's in the floor.
There's a hole in the wall.
Well, they come out of a hole in the wall.
Did they start in a hole in the ground?
Yeah, there's a construction site off to the side
happen?
of the room that's in the ground.
How the fuck did that happen?
And then they somehow end up coming out of the wall.
Is this school built into the side of a cliff?
No,
they're
just that dumb that they ended up doing that. That's what I think is supposed to have.
Just doesn't make it just go crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a funny joke, though.
I think also in Mr. Wright's room, though, before this happens, is when, Mose is still dealing with her pimple. That's basically her crisis of this episode, is that she's...
Oh, yeah, she does the mime thing, right?
She has a book, I guess, super glued to her face. I don't know how she affixed it.
Yeah.
And Ned is like, what are you going to do with a book on your face, silly?
Somehow.
She's like, I can do anything with a book on my face. And she does like, I'm in a box, and the box is getting smaller.
Yeah, and then Ned tries to ask out Susie, and she like gets like blown away basically by the earthquake. It like rolls her out of the room.
I mean, Mr. Wright caused serious structural damage to the school.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So that's crazy. After that, yeah, Ned gives a couple tips on acne.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's like put ice on it and cover it up with makeup.
Yeah. Just be a makeup using man.
I think right before that, Mose had the bag on her head, right?
Something like crazy like that. And then he's like, take it off, and he sees it, and he's like, that's not that bad of a pimple.
It was barely a pimple.
That's a 1.5 on the Zit Cristal at most.
Yeah, at best.
He still gets a good...
And then this is where we get the next drill.
He gets a good look at it.
The twister drill comes in. Chop Saw is fucking blowing a huge fan at people, and everybody's getting blown around.
Yes. This one I don't remember a lot about. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it was where we stopped it and went back. Remember, there was the kid sliding across the ground.
That's right. Okay, yeah, because there's a kid is just completely on their belly, and they just get flown across the floor. I assume they had to have been pulled by some sort of rope pulley situation.
Yeah, it looked good though. They did a good job with it.
It looks like they were getting blown straight across the ground.
And then right after that is when we're in the teacher's lounge, and all the teachers are complaining about how no one takes anything seriously. Yeah, and fucking Chop Saw starts fucking pouring coffee onto his arm, burning it like crazy.
What was the deal with that? Was he just his one arm was unable to navigate correctly to pour into the cup?
Honestly, I have no idea. It was really bizarre. It was
a bit of physical comedy that I'm not going to say fell flat, but I think it could have been made more sensical.
Yeah, I mean, it made me say like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" when it was going on.
Yeah, because there's steam coming off it.
Yeah.
Because he's made of wood.
And then they go back to Cookie and Gordy, right?
Well, they come up with the plan, right? And they're like, we got to do something to make these kids understand that emergencies are real.
Did they actually come up with anything in there? I missed that.
Well, no, because you got to save it. You got to save the surprise for what the solution was. But they're scheming. They're whining.
Yeah, they are scheming
about
for
the
sure.
kids. They're like, man, they're not listening, and then they're scheming. But yes, they go back to Gordy and Cook. Gordy
They're jackhammering
That's right,
the
yeah.
floor, and they're on the second floor.
Yes, they're jackhammering. I guess their goal is to jackhammer a hole in every room of the school.
Yeah, because he needs to be able to get places, you
He
know.
needs to be able to get outside.
Yeah, they fall right through the fucking ceiling.
Yep. They're like, good thing we were wearing hard hats, and I guess the hard hats fell off, or they took them off. I don't know.
Yeah, Gordy gets destroyed.
Yeah, he gets a piece of debris landed on him, takes him out just for a couple seconds. He'd be dead in real life. That's a
for
lethal
sure.
blow.
If it was concrete. And then we get Ned finally. He like makes this like elaborate tunnel system. Not even an elaborate tunnel system. It's more just like a barricade from Susie's class right to Ned, so she has to go to him so he can ask her out.
Yeah, he diverted traffic is all he did. Hallway traffic.
And she agrees. She says, "Yeah, let's do it."
She does, which is, I'm gonna say, shocking based on previous history of the way that she's reacted to his advances. Right?
You think so?
I
Well,
think so.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
But again, she's very unpredictable with the way that she handles situations. So it
Incredibly, especially season 1.
it kind of fits.
And this is where we see a bear.
Yes. So she says yes, and then she like looks behind Ned and she starts screaming, and he's like, "That's not good." And then everybody starts screaming. Mr. Wright says, "There's a bear!" And it's a bear. He's fucking with some trash at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a real
And,
bear then. He doesn't look like a real bear later. But he's a
No.
he's a real bear.
Yeah, so the gang runs into Gordy's janitor closet, and they end up hiding in the locker.
Yeah.
And Gordy tries to go out and save the day because he does have a bear tranquilizer gun.
Yep. Among the other tranquilizer guns, he has a bear tranquilizer gun. He's I guess
Yeah.
trying to load the gun, trying to get it cocked and ready to rumble, right?
I think he was also trying to psych himself up.
Sure. He breaks one of the cardinal rules of any sort of firearm. He, I guess, has it pointed at himself at some point, and then he shoots himself in the upper thigh with what I have to assume is ketamine.
Yeah, well, it was something to knock his ass out because it immediately tranquilizes him.
I think that's a commonly used big animal trank. So
Really?
yeah, especially for big cats.
What about big bears?
Bears are kind of like cats.
A little bit. But yeah, so he falls to the ground, and then it cuts back over to the kids, random kids screaming in the hallway.
The most random.
And this is when they reveal that the bear was indeed fake, and it was Mr. Monroe in costume.
Yeah.
The teacher set it all up.
He did a good job pretending to be a bear, as good as he could.
As good as he could, yeah, in a costume that was clearly fake.
As a normal, like, not huge man.
Yeah.
But
then Gordy in like his like drunken
Gordy in a K-hole.
sleepy state. Yeah. He fucking
army crawls.
launches he shoots the gun at him, gets him from afar. Great shot, mind you. Fantastic shot.
Yeah, well, it looked like a real bear to him.
He's able to get him right in the ass.
Yeah, and then Mr. Monroe, I guess, takes the head off again. He had put it on, and that's when Gordy
Yeah, he put
saw
it back on because they were like goofing around.
Yeah, because they're like, "Oh, you got us." I'm traumatized. But then Mr. Monroe he's like, I think he says Yogi has a boo-boo.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
And then
it was weird.
And then he also enters the K-hole.
And then I think the last part we see is just that the crew is locked inside of the cabinet. They can't get out.
Yep.
Everybody leaves. Mr. Monroe and Gordy go to the hospital.
Yeah, they call an ambulance. That wasn't cheap.
Yeah, dude. No, they're going to get billed for that for sure. But that's that part of the episode. That's part 1. What did you think about it? What are you giving it?
I want to say I'll give this one an 8. I thought it was pretty strong. You know?
Okay, yeah, I respect that. I feel like I would give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good. Spoiler alert, I think the next part is a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a really solid last episode. 7 out of 10.
Yep. Then
But yeah, right into the late bus. So straight off the bat, we see that they are talking about how they want to go home because it's the weekend. Bus 9, best bus ever. And Sweeney, he's a bastard, and he is basically like, bus isn't here, lol. It could take up to hours.
for anywhere between 10 minutes to 2 hours is the window. That's the, so.
Yeah, he's a real son of a bitch, isn't he?
Well, he takes a lot of pleasure in them having to stay there. They might be hungry.
He does.
They might have chores to do.
I'm sure. They probably got a ton of homework from his class.
That too. Yep, that comes up. But the first activity in the waiting for the bus to show up, I guess, is like, what do you call it? Pie football?
Yeah, I didn't even realize at first before it hit him that they were pies that they were launching. I thought it was. I didn't even know what it was.
Well, the first one flies over his head so perfectly. You're like, what the hell was that?
I couldn't even tell. Yeah,
because Coconut Head is the end zone.
Yeah, he's like supposed to be like the field goal posts, like when you play like if you were playing like paper football, like on a desk when you just flick it. Except they're playing it at a larger scale. For whatever reason.
Yeah, he just got his.
But yeah, it hits
arms,
him right in the face.
He's got his arms like cactuses, and then the second one comes. First one, he goes, "It's good." Second one nails him, so he gets a pie in the face. Classic.
Yeah, what does he say? It's like coconut cream or something.
I think that's
what he says the
says.
second time.
Yeah. Fitting.
We also see that Susie still fucking hates Ned. This is where we see the crossing over of the parts.
She thinks that he stood her up at Chandra's party, when in reality he was locked in a utility closet bunker.
We basically every single time he sees her throughout the whole episode, he's just saying,
"I was locked.
I was trapped in a locker," and no one fucking believes him.
I don't know why they wouldn't believe him. That's such a Ned thing to have happen to him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess it's also
it's
also a Ned thing to say.
Maybe too many things, like too many zany things have happened to him to where they're like, oh, this one can't be true. It's like, the boy who cried wolf style.
Ned, you're full of horse shit all the time. He's a trickster.
Yeah, dude.
He's a trickster.
He is. He's a classic trickster.
You put the and then so basically after that, Ned, Billy comes over to Ned. Billy approaches Ned, right?
Yeah, Billy approaches,
and he's like, "Hey, man. Once again, I am here trying to get you to hook me up with Mose." This is not the first time.
The fourth tapping or something? This is the fourth time it's happened?
It happens continually.
Yeah, it's been a ton of times. Poor Billy, man. He really just wants to go out with Mose. But he's ready this time. He's got a contract like that Claire's written up for them and everything.
That's true. He already has another contract from earlier where Ned isn't allowed to bully him. But that doesn't...
Yeah, he's always getting contracts, isn't he? He's a smart guy. He's smarter than people give him credit for.
Claire Lawyer is smarter than people give her credit for, too.
Claire Sawyer, future lawyer, is going to be a future lawyer, my dude.
I wonder if she's a lawyer right now.
I hope so. And this is also where we see Cookie's got this dope tour that he does of the school after hours.
Yeah, so you made the point. You made the... observation that everybody in the show that we know by name basically is on this bus that's late.
Bus 9, yeah. Everybody that's been on camera ever is Bus 9. They all live in the same neighborhood or like similar area of town.
Yeah. What a coincidence. What?
Yeah.
But
I feel like that didn't happen often in real school.
No, you're always trapped on there with frickin' oddball strangers.
People that you'd never see except on the bus.
You're like, what? Who are you? Who are these people?
you say that every day. Who are you people?
Yeah, they're always doing crazy shit. Drugs. Like
the bus is a crazy
putting
place.
staples in their like nails.
Yeah, erasing their arm until it hurts.
Burning stuff with lighters.
Yeah.
What is the impetus?
We don't condone any of that, by the way.
What is like you said, Cookie's like, we're going to give a tour of the school. Why these...
I think it's just because he's an entrepreneurial man. He wants to make money.
What's insane to me is that these kids are willing and want to go on a tour of a school that they go to.
Well, he bigs it up. He's a good salesman.
He's like, you're going to see the school after hours. That's what it is? This is the real.
Yeah, and that in my mind means there's something that's gonna be like either scary or sexy happen. You know,
Mad sex.
It's after hours.
Yeah, this is JK
but
PMS.
not really any of that stuff happens.
JK PMS after hours. Real.
Fuck yeah.
The real.
Neon lights blaring.
People are. Everybody's...
But yeah, so he starts doing his tour with the people that sign up for it, and the first thing that he shows is Durga after hours, and she's just in her fucking office crying, sewing up some, like, doing some knitting.
Yeah, she was knitting. Gordy is the one that lets them into school, though, by the way. And he also...
Yes, yeah,
and
he
he
does.
explains
Sorry,
he's finally got a foolproof plan to, take the weasel out, because, that's how it goes for him all the time. He's carrying a massive cartoon-sized mallet. Red mallet.
Yeah, doesn't he bonk himself in the head with it, too, when he's walking?
Probably something like that. I don't know. He's very much this is the most cartoony he's been, I think, with the weasel.
Yeah, his stuff at the end's pretty good though.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's cartoony. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so back to the Durga thing. She sees them, kicks them out, or well, not really kicks them out, but screams at him. And is like, "Cook, you can't be doing this tour again," and they run away. So this shows that he's done it before. He's a veteran.
I was going to say he's probably giving tours to 6th graders, but one of the people on the tour is fucking Zima.
What does that have to do with 6th graders?
Well, like, they would be more... Like, if he's given the tour before, maybe he's given it to underclassmen, like, people that haven't gotten it, and, like, he gets a new batch of them. I don't know. Trying to make it make sense, but it doesn't need to make sense. Zima's probably just taking the tour because it's Cookie, and she can just spend some time with Cookie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Though she does enjoy it.
The next thing that they bring him over to is the girls and boys room, but the girls go in the boys room and the boys go in the girls room.
Yeah.
Both of them are like blown away by what's inside of it.
Yeah, classic. Zima's like, finally a tour that shows you what you want to see.
Yeah, I don't know what she saw in there.
She's a dirty girl. I don't know.
The boys' rooms are usually pretty gross.
I'm sure the girls' room is just as
fucking
gross.
urinals. Oh, I'm sure. We're just pissing on the walls in there.
Every wall has a dick drawn on it.
Or like a little cross between the tiles. You know, when kids used to do that, like on the grout, you just draw in the grout.
I guess so. Sure.
You never seen that before? You never seen people like take a pencil and draw on the grout to make like crosses?
Usually, I just see a lot of slurs and like crazy shit. Well, but that's beside the point.
That's true. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Mose meets her match.
Yeah. So. Yeah. She finally meets a girl that is similar to her. She's been waiting this entire season.
Jennifer 2. Spelled
Jennifer 2, spelled T-U.
They have a lot in common.
She also has friends that we see. She's got friends named Ted and Mookie.
Yeah, that gets addressed a little later, but it is true. She's very much parallel universe Mose, because Mose is like, she's my new friend because she's telling Ned about it, and she's like, we have so much in common.
Yeah.
We love math and everything, and Jennifer 2 is coming off very, a little try-hardy, but it's fine.
Very try-hardy, in my opinion.
Yes,
I think that's a great point.
And Mose is like, she even has 2 best guy friends over there. There they are, Ted and Mookie, and it's like some knockoff looking motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's really weird, but it's pretty funny. I like when people do the Bizarro World type things.
It's great though, because it's never addressed again. It's just very quick, which makes it better, I think.
Yeah. Also, Ned is still doing the thing with Billy, where he's like trying to teach him to be a normal person. Yeah. He's like trying to adjust his laugh. He's trying to make him wear normal clothes that don't like scream "I'm a bully."
Yeah, he steals someone's clothes off their back.
He does. He rips the dude's clothes off, and you see him. He runs in the screen, and he's fucking naked. He's only got his undies on.
He also, Ned is like, you can't steal people's lunch money anymore, and in a real moment, Billy is like, how am I going to buy lunch then?
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty sad.
He's a po' boy.
Does this eliminate the theory before that they had where they were thinking that he was going to go to a private school and eat shrimp every day?
Well, they assumed he was privileged wrongly.
They did, yeah.
He eats a flower.
He does. He eats a full-on flower. And he spits it up as he's like trying to practice his new laugh.
Yeah, because he has a very like, I'm laughing at you kind of laugh, and Ned is like, you got to have a more nice laugh.
His Billy laugh is fucking great though.
Yeah,
it's so good.
He's very good in this episode.
But back to he is very good in it. Yeah, I think he's always usually. I mean, he's always really good. He's got to
be one of the best.
I feel
characters.
like Billy doesn't really have any bad spots.
That's true.
But yeah, so back to the tour.
Right.
We see a fucking dope cameo of Lil Romeo.
Yeah. So Cookie's like, this is the teacher rap club, and I guess it's in the auditorium. I guess they practice rapping in cipher after school some days.
Yeah, it's like all the teachers that we've ever seen.
Yeah. And
it's a big cast.
Yeah, and so they rap about some shit. I don't remember what they said. I wish I remembered some lines.
It's like, it was awful. It was nothing any good.
And he's like, they've gotten a little better. It looks like they got a coach. And then out comes Lil Romeo cameo.
Yeah.
Little cameo.
Shout out Lil Romeo. Used to have the show on Nickelodeon.
What was the name of that show? Was it just called Lil Romeo?
I feel like it was just called Lil Romeo.
I wonder if that's a cult following type show.
I don't know. I feel like he's not as remembered as much as
the white foster
Lil Bow
brother?
Wow.
He had a white foster brother. Do you remember that? Did you ever watch that show?
I do remember that. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay,
I watched that show. It was a great show.
Yeah. His dad was Master P, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
Yeah, he was great.
So that was fun to see him. Jennifer 2, we're back to the Jennifer thing. They're having a little heart-to-heart. We find out Jennifer 2's dad is, I guess, moving to Paraguay, being relocated to Paraguay, being deported to Paraguay. I don't know. It's not clear. But they're going to Paraguay.
Yeah, they're going to Paraguay regardless.
Yeah, so they can't be friends because that's not going to work.
No, she still wants to be pen pals, but Mose does not seem interested.
Well, yeah, sure, I'll be pen pal. Sure, fuck.
And this is also where she brings in Susie because Jennifer 2 is like, you should definitely be friends with Susie. She likes the same shit we do.
Yeah, Jennifer 2 and Susie have been
it's
tight.
Like the classic
They've
thing.
been tight this whole time, I guess.
Everybody's always saying it. They're like, Mose, you have everything in common and more with Susie. Just fucking hang out with her.
Yeah, and they have a little bit of... it doesn't seem to go that far in this one. They don't want to push that too long. They want to be gradual with this development of character relations. But, they start talking. They throw a couple compliments at each other. They're like, nice hairband. And Mose is like, yeah, it's purple. Matches my... That was good.
Yeah, it's like very monotone.
Good interaction.
And then they cut to a mop bucket race, I think is what's happening.
Yeah, the kids are like, I don't want the bus to come ever. Something like that.
Yeah, they're fucking loving the tour. The tour is great.
Well, imagine just doing whatever in the school with, like, no repercussions after hours. That'd be fun. We did that one time. We used to just film.
Great.
Or one, we it was not after hours. It was during the summer. But
a litany of times. So many different times.
Where we went on campus? I thought it was just for Wanted.
We went on campus a bunch of times. I mean... Yeah, I mean, we did it the one time for the movie, but then we did it other times for times where we didn't need to be at school. Like for Wild West Day and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I see what you mean. Where you just fuck around. I wish that we had more Wild West Days, I feel like we got screwed out of a couple of them.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Wild West Day, it's the day that's technically a day of school right after you take your exams in high school. When you don't really need to come, but it's technically a school day.
Yeah,
it's like the day right before summer.
It's very strange that that's the way that they have it be, But it's...
I didn't know. I don't know if that's still a thing. It seems like it had to have been like a mess up on someone's end.
I would think, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of nice. It gives you a day to catch up with people, get some yearbook signatures or something like that. if you want.
That's true, yeah.
It was great. One time we just left real early, and I think like went to Chili's or some shit, right?
Yeah, we went to Chili's.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we got some chips and dip and
Where
shit.
else are you gonna go? I think that after that happens.
But then we see that
we're back to the Gordy plot.
Billy accidentally asked Susie out,
that's
right?
That happens before we return to the Gordy plot.
Yeah. It's right before
Ned, like he's what is it? Susie and Mose are talking in the distance. Billy walks over to them and indiscriminately says, "Hey, you want to go to the mall?" He doesn't wait to get a one-on-one with one of them.
He doesn't say a name.
He doesn't say a name either.
Yeah. He just shouts it. What a fucked up way to ask someone out.
Hey, you over there, want to go to the mall this weekend? And then the first one to reply is Susie.
This is Crabgrass.
So he's going to the mall with Susie now, and he's not mad about it, per se, but it's not what he wanted.
He seems like fine with it.
More than fine with it, because he wants it. He's going with it, and he seems like, all right, I'll give this one a shot too.
But when they walk away, Moses is like, man, I would have gone with him to the mall.
Yeah, because he looked all hot and bothered with his freaking button-up shirt.
He looked weird. He looked like a fucking nerd.
He looked like a loser, for sure. Much more of a loser than he did before.
His leather jacket is way more dope.
and the urban camo. The grayscale camo. What's the official name for that?
I don't know. Would that just be considered like an Arctic camo?
Because
it's like white, gray. I guess it had black in it, so that doesn't really matter. It was white, gray, and black. I don't really know.
I don't know. But yeah, that happens. Then we're back to Gordy plot. So he's showing all the kids. He's got this Rube Goldberg mousetrap device set up in the rigged up in the auditorium. So it's like it's like 1,000 different parts. He's got it. The weasel hits this thing, then he gets flung into that, then he gets washed and rinsed, and then he rolls down the happy slide, and then he gets into the box with the Paraguay thing, and then he gets flung out the room and shipped instantly to Paraguay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He even bought the shipping label already. It's crazy.
And there was like food in the box for him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to kill him. He's not a bastard.
Weasel snacks.
He's not a heartless killer.
No, if he wanted to truly get rid of him, he could have killed him, I think, easy. I mean, with all those weapons that he had in the previous episode.
If you hit the weasel with the bear trank, he's dead.
That thing's dying for sure, yeah. And we see that he's a crack shot, so he could clearly do it.
He can shoot a bear from a mile away in a K-hole. So.
But yeah, so he uses the trap and, no, he doesn't actually try to use it. The weasel hits the button right as he's about to set it up. And Gordy gets fucking mailed.
He bypasses every part of the thing except for he just goes straight into the box. It was crazy.
Yeah, he gets like hit with a big mallet and it flies him in there. Or whatever.
Yeah, the box closes and then it shoots out of the room on its way to Paraguay.
Yeah, it was pretty dope how fast it slid out of the room, just instantly mailed somehow.
Gordy had it rigged up.
We also see that Cook's got the dope T-shirts that he's handing out.
Yeah. He's got a whole business here. It's crazy.
For the tour.
He's a legit businessman.
But everybody starts...
he's a businessman much like Orlando Brown in Max Heeble's Big Move.
Yes. Yeah, except he doesn't have the PDA.
As soon as Gordy gets launched out of the room, we hear what is eerily similar to Gordy's voice come over the... intercom.
It's exactly the same. I don't even think they masked it.
They didn't even try because it's already established that he is the narrator. Like, he is the intercom voice.
Yeah, for whatever reason. This is pre them having like the vice principal guy and stuff. They don't really have a principal figure yet.
They don't. That's a really good point. We don't see an administrator, I think, this whole season.
No.
Which is crazy. This is
they just have like the teachers act as administrators.
Yeah, this is like pre No Child Left Behind, maybe. Before the administrators took over,
maybe.
You know?
But yeah, so Bus 9 is there. It's finally here.
Yeah, photographer is
being driven by the photography guy.
That sucks at taking pictures. And I think that the message, intentionally or not, and I think it's fucked up. I don't think it's right that this show puts out is that if you're bad at your trade, you might end up being a bus driver. And this will One
Well,
time is not enough to prove
yeah.
that, but if my hypothesis that the computer teacher becomes a bus driver, that's 2 times that someone ends up a bus driver that did not intend to be a bus driver at first. So,
And then that's point
yeah,
proven.
that's fucked up. It's noble to be a bus driver.
Yeah, I think so.
Shout out to Jess.
Fuck it.
Maybe someday he'll hear
Shout
this.
out Jess. Well, he does
Seems
vans
like he
now.
only listens to half episodes, and then, but it's fine. Nobody knows.
Dips. Yeah, so the contract isn't valid.
That's right.
That's what Claire says because the wrong person was asked out. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
Mose, so the contract doesn't
Yeah.
count.
So it's fair game for Billy to bully Ned for the next year.
Yeah, which sucks
Well,
for Ned, but what can you do? Hey,
Ned can always, I guess, litigate at a later date and maybe get a contract of his own, but he seems to be averse to that.
yeah, he's never going to do that. That's some nerd shit. He doesn't do
He
that.
likes to handle shit on his own, which is fair.
Like on the streets, coming up with tips
Yeah.
and shit.
I think the last scene of the episode, the little cap at the end,
Also, are there no tips in this episode?
You're right.
I don't remember a single tip.
There's not. There's definitely not, because I always try and take a tip.
At least in the previous one, there was
I always
some,
try and take a
but
note on the tips.
I don't remember
and
this
I have
at all.
nothing written down about tips in this one.
Damn.
There was only like a couple
Weird.
in the first part too.
Yeah, there at the very least there was tips about staying calm during emergencies and about pimples.
Yep. But then we revisit Gordy. He's arrived in Paraguay. He is at the International Weasel Reserve in Paraguay.
Yes, yeah, with a shitload of weasels around as he's like chowing down on that weasel mix.
Yeah, a bunch of fake weasels, like little stuffed weasel thingies jumping around. It's pretty funny. He's like freaking out. He's like,
Oh,
this
also,
is like being surrounded by spiders or something to him.
yeah, he was horrified by him. Which, if they're wild weasels, that could be kind of
Yeah,
scary.
they're gonna tear your flesh.
Also, but right before that, we do see, before they switch over to Gordy, the bus is broken down. So they are stuck there, even though it's arrived.
Yes.
And I believe that was the end of the episode, and that is the end of season 1. I think I'll give this episode a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. I'm leaning 8.5. That's what I'm gonna say.
Nice. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty strong. Good strong end to
It
this
was
first
dope.
season. I hope it's maybe it'll be a trend now that the episodes will continue to be strong. Sometimes they,
I think so. I think Nickelodeon usually takes a little bit to get into their stride for shows.
That's true.
At least seemingly coming off of like Drake and Josh and
well,
stuff.
especially because the run time is so short. So each episode, you can only get a little bit of like. And granted, this show gets jammed so much stuff in these short episodes.
It gets jam-packed like a cartoon.
It's crazy. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yeah.
We were browsing through the thumbnails for the next season on Amazon, and they looked pretty solid. They look a lot older, the kids, even though they're supposed to just be the next semester.
A lot can happen in a semester when you're that
looks
age.
like a lot of different characters are changing, new characters introduced potentially. But yeah, that's been the podcast. You got any final notes or anything?
No, I mean we hung out this past weekend for the first time in a while. We want to admit to that.
That's true. Testing the waters. Yeah.
I think it was good.
Hopefully it's good signs. Hopefully the numbers start going down for COVID and everything can get back to normal sooner rather than later.
Yep, I think. And you never want to say something and then you look back on it and you're like, oh, that wasn't right. But hopefully
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Hopefully.
You guys have one more episode of
but
Drake
yeah.
and Josh, or maybe that'll have come out by the time this airs.
That will be out.
So the Drake and Josh
That'll
podcast
already
is
have been
now
out.
over
Yeah.
officially. Are you gonna do a best of hits?
Officially over. I don't know what we're gonna do. It's impossible
Okay.
to say.
I guess maybe put some feelers out there. You guys, if you guys are listeners of the Drake and Josh podcast as well, let us know what you want to see. If you want to see it just die and not be brought up again, or something else.
Hopefully something else.
Just got to do a new show. Got to start something else. Got to be starting something.
Yeah, there'll be other stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow us on all the different platforms and shit. Make sure you subscribe, like, all that shit. And we'll catch you guys for the next Ned season. And go watch some Ned's Declassified.